Hey everybody, it's Pete. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining me today. Welcome to a new episode of today's Best Stock Picks. It is Tuesday morning, and today we're going to talk about what was the dumpster fire that happened in the stock market yesterday. And more importantly, we're going to focus on whether or not Peloton stock is a buy today. So we're going to do a deep dive stock analysis into Peloton, and is it a good idea to buy the stock on the way down? Now, generally the answer is no. Yesterday we did an analysis on Tesla, and Tesla broke to the downside with the rest of the market. Today we have a little bit of a different situation in Peloton stock. So what we're going to talk about is, has the buying stopped? Is the bad news already priced in? And would you be buying Peloton stock today at a discount? So stick around. We'll be right back. Okay, so now generally speaking, everything that we do, we always analyze the stock market, then we go to stock sectors, and then we get a pretty good feel from the type of day, whether we're going to have conviction going into that day, whether we should be trading for cash flow, whether we should be looking to build positions. So I'm going to walk you over to the screen right now and show you what's going on as far as the bigger picture. So here's what we had, and the market yesterday basically had nothing. One or two stocks that actually performed well, and those stocks that performed well right out of the gate just lit up as far as the sellers, and the supply just got dumped onto the market yesterday. So what does that mean? What does that mean coming into today? What does that mean for buying stocks on Tuesday, which today is May 11th, 2021? And it really comes down to this. The market was due. We actually called it last week. We've been looking at a lot of basic material stocks that are strong, and we kept saying these are great. The breakouts are awesome. These rallies over the last 4 or 5 days in these stocks were tremendous. But we started to say that it was getting a little bit too late and too far past the optimal entry to start looking for new swing trades. But you can absolutely be looking to trade what we call the bullish echo, where the swing trade is no longer valid from a risk reward perspective, but the day trade is still there. So this, it's funny. We had our coaching call last night, and I just wanted to help everybody be comfortable with the fact that the market does pull back. It's kind of natural. We can't overreact to the market going down one day. We're just going to be getting better opportunities now, as we talk about, where if this is the optimal entry and this is the profit target, the further up we go, the profit decreases, or the profit potential decreases, which doesn't make sense to take risk anymore. But now as we're pulling back down, now we start to expand the profit potential, which kind of takes us right over into Peloton stock. And I want to show you something that's pretty funny, actually, which is why you need to make your own decisions before buying stock, and especially Peloton stock right now, because it's got a little bit of a different setup. And I'm actually going to make a prediction on Peloton stock, which is something I normally don't do. So let's take a look at the chart. We're going to go straight over to looking at Peloton. So in case you don't know, the symbol for Peloton stock is PTON. And this is really what we have right now. We're going to actually get into where the vaccine news started to get good, and a lot of what we call the stay-at-home stocks started to take a hit. Zoom stock was one of those as well. And then Peloton actually had bad news 2 days ago. And what's funny but not funny, and this is why we do these videos, just to give you a heads up on where you should start to put the attention, and that attention should be on yourself. Scoop up Peloton shares at a discount as an analyst. If you own Peloton stock, it's time to sell. Okay. Well, first of all, selling after a massive decline into major support is not a good idea, especially in a bull market. That is the area where buyers tend to step back in, and short sellers tend to get the stock shoved right back in their face. Now, yes, Peloton has some visceral news on the outside, right? But right now, at this moment, is it time to start buying Peloton stock a little bit at a time? Now, I'm not saying get in here and start buying hand over fist. What I am saying is smart money reacts at certain prices. Smart money reacted here, and look what happened. Smart money reacted here, and look what happened. Okay. Smart money is reacting here. Are we forecasting the same thing for Peloton stock? I'm just going to say straight up, yes. And yesterday we talked down a little bit about waiting for Tesla to be at the right price. Today, smart money is stepping in. Now, does that mean that we get in there, we're like, yes, I just can't wait to get in there with maximum share size? The answer is no. So you can see that we have a longer term bearish order flow in Peloton stock, which would take it up to the 110 level if we started to see buying. But as the stock started to accelerate to the downside, you could see, and let me zoom this out here a little bit so you can see the significance of it. Look at that volume over the last few days. So what are we looking for? We're looking for buyers to step back in, and at a minimum, over 90 is the price where I would start to look to accumulate a position. Now, what I want to get across here, which is whether we're talking about buying Peloton stock or whether we're talking about any stock, if a stock is not exhibiting the order flow that you want to see right now, that means that you're kind of a little bit early. You might have reasons, you might have been able to build an argument for that trade, but you might be a little bit early. And if you're early, actually raise your hand if you've been involved in a stock where you've been absolutely right, too early, got stopped out, and the stock did exactly what you wanted it to do. Today is how you fix that. Let's say you want 1,000 shares of Peloton stock. You go in there with 200. You're putting your feeler out. You're putting the stock in your position summary. You're watching it go up and down. You know that stock now at that point better than anybody else on Wall Street. So as it's fluctuating, you have a line in the sand where you say, okay, it needs to stay above that price. If it stays above that price and rallies a little bit, then you could consider adding a little more. Jesse Livermore called it putting out a probe, getting into a trade. Some of my friends call it tier one, where you put the first tier on, and then if it moves in your favor, you have tier two. This is the way professional traders work their stocks. It's very foolish to go in full share size all the time unless you have order flow pointing in the perfect direction in multiple time frames. So the weekly, the daily, and the monthly, and you have the optimal entry, and you have profit potential that is highly likely to be achieved. That's the opposite of what we're talking about when we look at Peloton right now. So how do we do it? This 79 to 80 area is where the buyers are stepping in, and the same way that they stepped in previously. So now we have a line in the sand, and that's how tape reading starts. When you're tape reading a stock, excuse me, you need to know a level where it looks good. You need to know, is it moving closer to or further away from that price in a bullish or a bearish manner? So right now we have 80. Volume stepped up again for a second time. So this is where, if you like this stock, you are now looking to initiate the first piece of a trade. Now, what's the next level? This is really where the analysis comes in. So what's the next level, and what do we need to see next to say, okay, the smart money did more than stop it down there, but have they stepped up and given us an opportunity to put on new shares? And when I say opportunity, I mean, have they given us a reason to put on new shares? So we're going to head right back over to the charts. So you can see, again, just at full clarity, this is where the buyers stepped in last time, and they're stepping back in now. Now, what we have on the daily chart is we have what's known as a U-turn. So it actually traded lower and it reversed on heavier volume. But right now, you have a big window here. You have over 90, which is where the price needs to get. You can make a case that it's right here at 92.02, or you could be looking to initiate the first piece now. If this was me, I'd be looking to initiate the first piece if we trade above yesterday's high, which is 88.27. And my initial stop loss on my first entry would be below this level right here, which you can see here is 79.81. So that would be the first way I'd be working the order. If we see the weekly chart start to work its way into a well-bid candlestick, which might not happen until next week, the follow, which next week would be the week of the 17th, then you could patiently put the next piece on. So let's think about what's going on here. If you put the first piece on right now, and I'll just use round numbers, and let's say you want 1,000, and it's a little bit longer term trade, you think the stock might make its way all the way up to 160 again, or even 100 for that matter at this point. You put on the first piece and you go, okay, I have reasons. They're not strong reasons yet, but I have reasons. It's interesting to me right now. I might want to get into this stock deal. I just gave you the levels. Above yesterday's high would be the first place that I put on the first piece. Next, we work our way out. We have two other lines in the sand. We have to wait for the weekly chart to rally and become well bid. And I'm going to show you what well bid means right now on the chart. So this is well bid. Well bid means a higher high and a higher low from 1 week to the next. So that's what we're looking for now. Because it's only Monday, this candlestick is forming. It is making a higher low. But in order for this to be well bid, it would need to get all the way over $100. Probably not likely to happen today. So what we're going to end up seeing is this candlestick most likely will form an inside candlestick, which is a pause at all of this volume. Next week, after we have our first piece on, assuming it doesn't roll down and stop us out for small loss, then we would look to add if next week's price action becomes well bid, which also means higher highs, higher lows, and closing strong. If that happens and we are over this parabolic move to the downside, which is around 90, that's where we'd end up putting our next piece on, where the first trade would end up being a target of 110, and then the next target after that around 125. So that's how you work this order. It's not a great idea. Order flow is not pointing in our direction, but this is what separates somebody who gets the great entry. The optimal entry is by noticing these clues, putting the pieces together, being smart with share size, which is not getting in there with full share size, swing with the intention of swing trading this over the next couple of weeks, maybe even over the next couple of months if the stock bottoms out. Now, here's what separates somebody who's a trader and learning to be great and somebody who's a chart reader who's struggling. A trader will be like, okay, that's my first piece. That's my argument. If it rolls over, I get out. It's as simple as that. You had an argument. You had pieces of an argument. You put the trade on. You looked at Peloton stock. And you're like, okay, that's why I want to buy the stock right now, but I'm not going heavy until I get some feedback. We want feedback from the smart money. The smart money comes in, and then we look to trade the stock. Big difference from when it's going straight up. So just keep in mind, the market can go down. It does go down. This is nothing more than giving us an opportunity to pick up some stocks. So the market rolled over yesterday. A lot of stocks had bearish U-turns yesterday. They traded higher, reversed, closed lower, closed below the previous high, heavier volume. So we're taking a step back today to evaluate some better opportunities, and that's how we're going to approach the trade today. So normally we're looking at stuff that's going straight up. PTON stock rolled over today, and we just built an argument for you. So if you have any questions about this, definitely click down below and let me know what you think. If you have any questions about learning how to buy stocks using this kind of format, absolutely leave me a question too. It's kind of fun to answer those questions. And definitely give us a thumbs up if it's your first time watching us. And if you love the content, definitely give us a thumbs up as well. All right. Have a great day, everybody. Take care. Thank you so much.